Hey, it's Tara, and today I'm gonna let you in on how I lost 20 pounds in 2 months with no calorie restriction and no intense exercise like HIIT training or running. But before I get to all those specifics, I wanna tell you about today's sponsor, which is Premium Jane CBD. I've been using their products for over a year now, mostly for my mental health to manage my anxiety, but they've actually helped with my weight loss a lot too. The thing is, if I start to feel anxious, it affects everything in my life. My digestion doesn't work very well, which leads to me being bloated and having skin issues. It affects my sleep and my stress levels, and that all leads to me gaining weight and just not feeling good. They recently sent me their vegan CBD gummies, and it was my first time trying them. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but they're actually really tasty and really effective with getting rid of all stress and all anxiety in my life. That just helps everything work better in my body and has led to me losing 20 pounds in 2 months. So I want to give a huge thank you to Premium Jane for sponsoring this video and helping me with not only my mental and physical health, but also making it possible for me to make these videos. The first thing that I focused on with this weight loss journey was to make sure that I was eating enough food. And what I mean when I say enough food is at least 2,000 calories every day. I know that probably sounds counterintuitive because there are all these programs out there suggesting that you eat anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500 calories, and trust me, I have tried those before and failed at them every single time because I was so hungry that it led to me binging and gaining back all the weight that I had lost. And I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to do those crash diets anymore, so eating 2,000 calories each and every day was really important for me. And I didn't just eat 2,000 calories worth of any foods. I maintained a whole food, plant-based diet. I'm an ethical vegan, so being vegan is the most important thing to me. But just because you're vegan doesn't necessarily mean that you're eating healthy. So I focused on eating whole fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, and legumes. And over the past 2 months, I've actually found that those are the foods that fill me up and make me feel the most satisfied. When I'm eating 2,000 calories of whole plant-based foods, I never feel hungry and I never feel like binging. The next thing I did is move my body in a way that felt joyful for me. In the past, when I was doing all of that crash dieting, I would use exercise as a form of punishment, and I would force myself to do tons of exercises that I hated, and it just wasn't sustainable. So this time I took a different approach and really only did exercise that I love to do. One of my favorite ways to move my body is to lift heavy weights in the gym. I just get this feeling of euphoria when I'm doing it, and it's one of my absolute favorite ways to exercise. Right up there with weightlifting is hiking, so I'll strap on my heavy pack loaded with 20 to 30 pounds worth of weight and go out and walk in the forest. Aside from those two types of exercises, which tend to be a bit more intense, I have gone on a ton of walks in the forest with my pup Pepsi. I've done online bar classes using lighter weights because I love to mix up using heavier weights and lighter weights in my workouts. I've gone cycling with my road bike, and other than that, I have been working on a lot of home projects, things like gardening, painting, any renovations that we need to do around our house. And yes, I get a lot of movement in my day. I make sure that I get at least 20,000 steps every single day, which I track on my Fitbit. And aside from that, I go on at least an hour or two of walking with my dog, and I do at least an hour of intense exercise, like the weightlifting or hiking with a heavy pack. And that might seem like way more exercise than the average person does, but there are a couple reasons that I've done this. The first is that I'm training to do a thru hike eventually, which means that I have to be prepared to carry heavy weight on my back for about 8 hours a day on rough terrain. The second is that I just love slow, long exercise. I would rather exercise for 3 hours a day in a slow, controlled way than do even 10 or 20 minutes of HIIT training or running. That's just my preferred type of movement, and I get a lot of joy out of moving my body this way. On top of that, it allowed me to keep a calorie deficit of anywhere between 500 to 1,000 calories a day without having to do any kind of calorie restriction. Instead of eating less, I just moved my body more. The next thing I did to lose the 20 pounds is something that is really simple and underrated, and that's that I had patience and didn't have unrealistic expectations. Aside from the very beginning of my weight loss journey, where I realized that I was overeating, I was eating upwards of 5,000 calories a day, and then the initial transition from eating 5,000 calories down to a more manageable 3,000 calories and then 2,000 calories. Aside from that initial weight loss, which a lot of it, if I'm being honest, was water weight that I lost very quickly, aside from all that, I lost an average of 1.5 pounds per week, which is a very healthy and average amount of weight to lose. And that's why for me, it was really important to be realistic and see this as a lifestyle change that was going to take time. 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss per week might seem slow, but it's also way more sustainable in the long term. So even though it is really easy to get restless once you started a new lifestyle change, I think it is so important to just slow down, take the time you need, and expect that this is gonna take a while. And I think the biggest distinction for me with this weight loss journey is that this is not a diet for me. It's not like I am going to eat this way until I lose all the weight and then I'm going to go back to whatever way I was eating prior to this. This is a full lifestyle switch. I went from living a vegan lifestyle where I ate a lot of processed vegan foods and heavy carbs, a lot of potatoes and rice and pasta and bread, to one where I eat predominantly fresh fruits and vegetables, and that's how I feel my best now. The whole concept that I've been basing my food choices around for the past 2 months has been one called calorie density, which essentially means that I'm eating a lot of really high volume foods that make me feel very satisfied and full and happy, that are also lower in calories, so I can eat as much as I want and I never have to worry about it. And ultimately, living this way has been a really positive thing for me. This weight loss journey looks so different from anyone I've taken in the past because it is entirely positive. I'm focusing on eating in a way that makes me feel healthy and happy. I'm focusing on movement that makes me feel joyful. None of the things that I'm doing are a punishment or are a temporary fix. And this is the way I'm gonna continue to live until I lose the weight and long after I lose the weight too, because it makes me feel my best. So that's really it. That's how I lost 20 pounds in 2 months. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell notification button because that's how you're gonna be notified of the new videos that I have uploaded each and every week. And I will see you guys next time.